So BabyChiefDoIt, who is recently on the XXL Freshman list, has recently said in an interview that he used ChatGPT to help write him verses or something. And apparently he went back on it, but it kind of sparks the question, like, what are the implications of this? Does it matter if somebody uses ChatGPT? Is it just a tool? What if they're writing full verses? I don't know. We're going to talk about it today. I'm Sean Lonegevity with Bringing Down the Band and the New Old Heads podcast, and this is my Unpack series where I typically go deeper on New Old Head segments, and that's what this one is. So let's get into the video and see what we have.
XXL Freshman just admitted to using AI to write rhymes. Is this the future of hip hop? That, my friends, is the question. Now,
that is actually very interesting because will we even be able to know?
Shout out to the homie 𝗕𝗥𝗓𝗚𝗓. He recounted a conversation where BabyChiefDoIt, I believe it's from Chicago. You want me to say it again? I'm not going to do that.
No, I think you should, just to make sure.
BabyChiefDoIt allegedly admitted to using ChatGPT for songwriting. Now, BabyChiefDoIt later denied using AI as a solution for his lyrics in an interview with Complex. Now, this sparked a larger conversation about the role of technology in hip-hop and what really constitutes authenticity. We're going to watch a video from the homie 𝗕𝗥𝗓𝗓, and then we will discuss.
But he's talking about, or he admits to using ChatGPT to write his recent verses. This is a XXL Freshman, by the way. It's the only reason all this attention is on him like this. Continue, sir.
Man, you posted something the other day that I thought was really dope. You said just because you got enough money to buy it don't mean you can afford it. I think that type of mindset.
What's that?
Yeah.
When I do that? Wait. What I say?
You said just because you can buy it don't mean you can afford it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I see. That's what I say.
You don't even remember.
No,
you be motivating people. You don't even remember.
I ain't gonna lie. I just be having on my to get off my chest. You feel me?
ChatGPT probably wrote that for you.
Yeah, bullshit. I just downloaded that 2 days ago. I didn't know that worked so well. I've been using that to write my lyrics.
Maybe you can collab with Timbaland.
That's my thoughts.
Man, we going to get there. We're going to save that because we're going to get there. But
Nah, because Timbaland will cut him out of the process.
keep in mind, this young man, I believe, is from Chi-Town. He's 17, if I'm not mistaken.
He's 14, 15, 16,
Don't do that. Don't
17,
do that.
18, and 19, or 20.
I
what
think
he
he's
said in his
around
freestyle.
17.
I'm 14, 15, and 16. I'm 17, 18, 19, 20.
I don't know if ChatGPT said that or he said that.
He must be
That's
smoking.
Pause.
You say I ain't top 3 in the rack, and your ass must be smoking.
Smoking is crazy.
That is crazy.
I'm glad you said that,
This is where
Metron.
we need
That's
the camera
crazy work.
sound bite.
There we go.
Metron, that's elite crazy work right there. Okay.
BabyChiefDoIt said it first. I'm just quoting.
Okay.
If ChatGPT wrote that for him, no.
ChatGPT, it did not. Never mind. All right. So, if an artist utilizes the AI tools but still delivers compelling performances, does this diminish that artist's value in hip hop? So they're using the cheat code. They're typing everything in. How does that look?
Is this the same as Rhyme Zone?
He uses Rhyme Zone as well. He said that it gives him a list of words that he can rhyme with words. So just like
Did you guys catch that? Because I edited this video. You see what I put in there for the rhyme word?
he uses Rhyme Zone as well. He said that it gives him a list of words that he can rhyme with words. So
Is this like a hip hop thesaurus?
I mean,
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a website that you just type in a word and it'll show you all the things that rhyme with it.
I will say
I think it's got a thesaurus built into it, or I think so. I don't know.
this. 𝗕𝗥𝗓𝗓 did say in that video, I wasn't able to chop it, but he says Mickey Fax has said he used Rhyme Zone to get words. So he kind of,
I've used it in
throwing him
like
a bone.
2005.
All right, Lone said the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool. We throwing him a bone, but overall, like, how do we feel about this? Does it cheapen what he's got, what this young man has going on, or
To some degree, obviously. I mean, if it's not you writing it, automatically it automatically cheapens it at least a little bit.
we just in this era where everything is acceptable and we just have to roll with it as the quote unquote old heads? Jay Moore, I'm gonna come to you first. What you got?
I'm not sure about ChatGPT, but I know for some of the tools, they have to be trained. So it has to have something to go off of. And what's this kid's name again?
BabyChiefDoIt.
BabyChiefDoIt. I don't know if there's a template or enough out there that ChatGPT can draw from to say, okay, I'm gonna spit some BabyChiefDoIt rhymes and make this make sense.
Actually, you can. You can train it. So you just open up a prompt and then you say, hey, here are some references of the type of person that I want to rap like. Oh, I shouldn't be telling you this. And then I want to write a verse about this and, make it blah, 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 blah. And it will write you versions of it in that particular type of flow. Because
then you're going to be able to hear, okay, that he definitely wrote that. And then you're going to be like, okay, ChatGPT clearly wrote this because this doesn't sound anything like what Baby Chief Do It, whatever, write down on a piece of paper. So
we don't even know that Baby Chief Do It is technically 100% wrote anything down on a piece of paper. We don't know.
Do I think this is the future? Yes, to a certain extent. I'm sure there are plenty of artists who would be smart enough not to admit it, are using these AI tools to assist them in their artistry.
But how do
it's
you
just
feel
like,
about
wow, it's
the
just
concept?
The concept, look, at this point, we live in a world of ghostwriters, ghost producers.
That's fair.
I was saying there's been songwriters forever.
That's fair.
So my whole thing is like discretion is the key. A lot of you, okay, if you are using these things, at least keep, in The Wizard of Oz, keep Oz behind the curtain or whatever. Like, we don't want to hear that you are using these tools in your artistry.
I mean, the issue comes with the ethical nature of it, right? Because it's not necessarily that ChatGPT is doing it. It's that if you say, hey, I want to write rhymes, like let's say I want to be a rapper tomorrow, I want to go back and start rapping again. But I want my entire verses to sound like Baby Chief Do It, right? So that's the model I built. I feed the model all these Baby Chief Do It lyrics and and all this stuff, and then it writes me something based upon that style. Well, technically, is that copyright infringement or is that biting? It is kind of biting a little bit, right? So, and isn't that one of those things you just don't do in hip hop? I mean, the answer is yes. So, I don't know. It's one of those weird ethical lines.
Really don't. And honestly, if there's going to be something to where it's going to be very clear that these are not your thoughts and not your feelings and not your words.
I don't know if that's the case, though, because that would mean that, think of where, rap is in the state that it's in. Think about the XXL Freshman list. Most of it's nonsensical. I don't think people are going to be able to notice, unless it's, really blatant. But most artists are going to have the wherewithal to not, make it super blatant. But no, I don't think people are going to be able to notice.
Did I say that? About just something that he put out there.
But see that, then he's talking about, artists not remembering things. The thing is there's stuff that I've heard. I've written so many songs. I don't remember everything that I've said.
He probably did, because I've heard that same thing many times before about, it's just because you can buy it doesn't mean you can afford it. I'm not saying that a young man can't have those kinds of thoughts, but something tells me that those aren't his words or his thoughts or his feelings either. So honestly, be smart enough to keep Oz behind the curtain. If you are an artist out here who is working with AI and sharpening your sword artificially, if you will.
Metronome, what you think, man?
I think that there is something to be said about the element of performance and ability. Ashford and Simpson wrote a lot of records for a lot of people, but could those people, do you have Marvin Gaye or whoever getting on stage and doing the damn thing or not, right? So I mean, I still think that this kid has to invest enough time and energy. And Lone and I have talked about this distinctly it's about caring. Do you care about what you're doing? Do you care about your art form? Do you care about the craft? Are you willing to, put in the work to become great? Because, Skills writes a lot of records for a lot of rappers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the person rapping is good at it.
And just for a little bit of clarity, if you don't know who's talking, that's DJ Metronome. He owns Decademics DJ and Production School. I lead the music production department there, but he teaches the same stuff. We agree on a lot of the same stuff here because we are educators and we are people that teach people this stuff. We have these type of conversations. I don't know if it's in this segment, but I was talking about I have conversations about this path of artistry multiple times a week. It's not new, and there is. If you care about the thing that you're doing, if you care about the culture, if you care about the art form itself, then you're going to learn how to do the craft. If you don't care about it, you're just going to cut the corners. But care is really kind of the distinguishing metric here.
It doesn't automatically mean it's going to be a great record. And also, this is the age of convenience. And I say this fully admitting on this podcast that I've never downloaded ChatGPT. I've never used it. I typically, Lone knows this, I am not an early adopter of most technological advances.
Took you a while to get Serato.
I was literally probably the last one. But Yeah, I mean, I tend to not adapt to those things or adopt them early because I don't know if I just love the struggle of the process. I just think there's an authenticity
100%.
to trying to learn to do the work. That doesn't make it better. I'm not. There's lots of people that have tried to do the work and they're really bad at it. So
100%. Like with your school, it's like you can't download that. You have to put the work in to get to that point. What I wanted to ask you was,
and that's the trademark of the school. You can't download practice.
With you mentioning, Serato and Jay Moore, I'm talking about you being one of the later people to actually try it. Do you ever look at technology to be able to say, okay, I can take this portion of technology, put my genius with it without 100% depending on it, and then make that turn into something else?
No, for sure.
That's just evolution, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I guess that's where I'm going, like the evolution point of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't utilize any modern tools.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that if you pour enough into any craft or anything that you're trying to learn, you're going to get enough reps over time to figure this thing out and to find your voice and to develop it into a skill and to sharpen that skill. Yeah. I don't think a lot of these people, BabyChiefDoIt or whatever, a lot of them honestly don't seem to really care. No,
they don't. They don't care.
Maybe it's maybe they're seeking stardom or maybe it's money or whatever that motivation is. Mm-hmm. I usually am a little skeptical of like the caring part of it, and I think that's for me that's often like kind of what defines somebody as great. It's like they've gone through these processes to lean into that greatness, and I feel like cats like this aren't going to get there, and ChatGPT is not going to help them get there.
That's fair.
You just got to put the work in. You're not going to get good overnight. You can definitely use the tools, but can you do it without the tools? And it's not just about some sort of elitism. It's about developing a skill set. It's about caring about the thing that you're a part of. So.
J-Div, jump in, bro. What you think?
This isn't the first time or the last time that AI has assisted any artist that's out right now.
True.
He might just be one of the first people to admit it in a sit-down conversation with somebody. We kind of have to get used to this is the regular norm at this point. You have all of these tools that are readily available to you. Even talking from a DJ point of view, and I know he can agree as well, the DJ community would not be as big right now if it wasn't for technology, because people don't have the wherewithal or the focus or the proper skill set in order to try to learn on vinyl without, having a computer show you what the BPM is. I guarantee you can ask a bunch of DJs, how do you count BPMs? And they won't be able to tell you.
That's real.
So, technology is just something that's here, and that's not taking anything away from DJs that only know how to DJ like that, because there's some amazing DJs out there. But technology is here, and it's here to stay. And we just have to get used to the fact that this is going to be a tool that everybody in every arena is going to use. It doesn't matter if they're a rapper, a singer, a songwriter, whatever. It's not a hip hop thing. And I think I always get a little upset or perturbed every time it's always hip hop. It's always, let's point it at hip hop. Hip hop is the only one doing this. Hip hop did that. Hip hop did this. This is a universal situation.
Sure.
Where technology is pretty much kind of taking over and steering everybody's, car essentially.
And Terry makes a great point. This is across the board. This isn't just about music. This is about in general. And Nick's conversation, Metronome's conversation about caring and the stuff that I talk about caring, this translates across everything. Sometimes these tools are great, especially if we don't really care about being better at the thing. I don't care about being a better programmer. I went to school for programming for 2.5 years, and I realized I don't want to do that anymore, right? So when I use Gemini for coding spreadsheets so that I can look at analytics and I can help our process at the New Old Heads, that's a tool that I'm using. I'm not using it because I want to be a programmer. I'm using it because it's a tool that I can use that can help us progress and do better at the thing that we're doing. If you want to say, well, you're not really a programmer, I would say you are absolutely right. I have friends that are. I have friends that are amazing at what they do. I am not. I can get around in it. And it's the same with everything, everything across the board. Tools exist. I can do things. But, music production is my trade, and I teach that. You know what I mean? And so it's very easy to spot people that are moonlighting in it, in a sense, don't really care about becoming great producers. They just want to be perceived as great as great producers by the stuff that they listen to, as opposed to the skill set that they actually embody. And those are two different things. And, a lot of times that conversation in itself gets whitewashed a little bit, because people are looking at the outcome instead of the process. And, not everything is the outcome. The outcome is not the end all be all.
Well, let's use another example.
Because happiness is about the journey. That's another piece. Happiness is not about the end goal. Like if I boil this all the way down to like from a human level, why are people struggling? Why do people hate their lives? Why are people, we want this instant gratification with everything. Happiness is in the process. Happiness is in the process of doing something and reaching it. It's very easy though it's very easy though for us to kind of just see like to aspire to something and want to be something just because, life is hard in general, but yeah, happiness is in the process. Embrace the process, because that's where that internal piece is going to come from. And I know I just went super random, weird, deep, but it's really true.
Here wants their doctor to have gotten through medical school only using ChatGPT and not actually putting in the bookwork. Because I sure don't. Nah.
One thing I will say though is who knows what this looks like. If these ChatGPT doctors, if they're facilitated by humans to some degree that are learned, which is what Nick is referencing here, but who knows what this looks like in the future. This could potentially also, if it's used as a tool in the right way, it could make doctors that much more smarter. It could make diagnosing that much easier. It could make our lives that much better. I've already used it for some medical stuff. I've taken pictures and be like, what is this? I'm like, oh, well, this is this and this and this, and this is what you need. I was like, oh, cool. Like that's helpful. Like, is this melanoma? No, that's not melanoma. You know what I mean? Like, but if it is, then it's like, okay, like, it expedites the process. These tools are there, and there's ethics around AI. I'm back and forth on it. I'm using it as a tool. I am, which, maybe I shouldn't be, but I am. And, but yeah, it's, who knows what that's going to look like in the future too, and the displacement that's going to happen because of it, like I think it's kind of inevitable at this point, but,
I think, again, like it can be a tool. This is what I say to all of our students at academics. Is it a tool or is it a crutch? Yeah. Because it's either one or the other. If it's a tool, then you're still, allegedly putting in the work and really trying to strive towards whatever that thing is that you're trying to achieve, But
what's crazy?
And you have to be honest with yourself about that too. You have to be honest. That's why I really like what we do at academics too, because like everybody gets humbled when they come in. Everybody starts in the novice class. Everybody does. And, you have to build your way up. You have to learn all the things. It's about the process. It's so much about the process.
When you came from the school of getting it out the mud, quote unquote, you can see when it's the crutch. I think we are equipped to be able to see when certain things are the crutch versus that person that has done, I guess, if you want to say their homework, if you will. And, whenever I run into younger producers, I always tell them, yeah, this is your era. These are the things that you've been equipped with. But if you can hone your skills on that ground level first before you start to take advantage of everything that is available to you in your era, it's going to make you that much better, because a lot of people are just jumping right to the advanced course, the cheat code, if you will. They just want to get right to it. They start making beats and just throwing stuff out there.
But you got to realize too, we kind of come from an era that a lot of the people we looked up to were still purists. That's true. They did it and it was fun, and it wasn't necessarily just directly by the book or things like that. You have to realize now we're in an age where, okay, Baby Chief did it. He's already in a situation to where it doesn't matter what he did or how he got there. He's there now. So he can use this to his advantage. It doesn't matter. Because to your point, it's not about wanting to be the best, essentially. It's about trying to, be popular. I've already gained that recognition. So at this point, I've already made it. I'm on. I'm going to use this as the crutch that it is and keep it moving. He might not even want to rap.
And that's not new. That's not new. Again, like if we're taking the old head argument, there's always been people that were not good at any point in music making or sports or whatever. There's always people that or people that have seemingly overachieved. Obviously we also existed on the other side of that digital divide.
That part.
And we're one of the I think sometimes for our generation of people, it's interesting, but it's kind of a struggle because everybody in this room right now, other than Gobinator over there, remembers the time when the internet did not exist. But like there was no options. The only cheat code we had was buying the Game Genie on Nintendo. Like there were very limited options. You had to do the work, across the board. So I don't know. I think that sometimes that colors our perspective and makes us seem jaded. Sure. But when you experience life in that way, then it does kind of seem like things are just a little bit too easy.
I think an interesting thing about our generation, the millennials, I don't know, I'm 42. I don't know where I fall in that. I think I'm like an older millennial or whatever. But the older millennials and the younger Gen Xers, like everybody of us, we lived a very particular life that I don't think can be replicated. Like we've lived through a lot of shit. Like we've lived through so much of like promises from previous generations and from our parents' generations and stuff that was never actualized. And the emphasis of like, it's one thing to grow up to be like 16, 17, 18 with the internet and to be like 25, 30. Like we grew up when the internet was born, but we were like at that age to where like we were literally learning it as it was becoming available. It was 1997, 1996. I was in middle school. I had a computer class where we were learning about internet stuff. You know what I mean? Like we grew up with it. You know what I mean? But as a kid, we knew what it was like, like we were still taught the old ways. And so we have that embodied and we just have a very unique perspective from people from our generation. I don't know. Being an educator, as Nick is, we instill the same type of things into our students at Academics.
Sure.
And it's kind of like I feel like I have this type of conversation, I think almost once a week, if not more than that. Right. But I think another interesting piece to this is like, depending on how the world is moving from here, moving forward and the generations after us, things and how we accumulate information, how we go through the process of everything, because we grew up without the internet and we grew up with it. We understand that.
Right.
But there are generations and then another generation that will never have to worry about that. And so that brings up another question. Is it really that big of a deal? Like does or to this other question here, do these AI tools, does it democratize? Does it empower more people?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I think there's this interesting, like, what's the word? It's not juxtaposition, but maybe it is, but it's like, what is the word? It's, intersectionality. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. How they interlink. There's multiple, like it's interlinked into how like multiple things are kind of happening at the same time to where like, sure, you have to put in the right amount of work on the thing if you want to be good at the thing. But if it doesn't matter if you're good at the thing anymore, then you're going to approach it differently.
You know what, Lon? I think, first of all, I agree with you. And as things evolve, because we know we're in an era where things change rapidly. It's not 3 or 4 years. It's 6 to 8 months. Something will change, like ways change. And that goes to what I believe Metronome talked about when he mentioned purists, the people that we followed or whatever. That part of us is never going to go away. So anybody that's around us, we're going to always try to embed that into them. But is that the best way to be beneficial? We can't say that anymore because things evolve so much.
I mean, I still believe that it is.
I believe in it too, but I'm also saying like if someone says, well, Major, I don't want to go that route. I got 2 of my friends that just have 50,000 views off just doing this. Right. What am I going to tell them? I can't tell them that it's like not right. You see what I'm saying?
No, for sure. And I think depends on where it comes from. Do you care about the thing that you're, it goes back to care, right? Like,
goes back to
do you care about the art form that you are participating in? Well, then you're going to respect the art form. That means that you're going to practice to be better at the art form, as opposed to just kind of like pimp out the art form in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, it's something, with how everything's changing is something that I have to kind of reevaluate all the time.
Yeah. Well, even with music making, I mean, the playing field has gotten, it is more level, and it has been like that for quite a while. Because I mean, think about, again, we were talking about earlier with imaginary players, like you had to rent studio time, right? Now no one ever almost ever goes to a real studio.
For sure.
And so in that way, like democratizing, it has become more democratized in that particular capacity because we do have way more people making music, which is great because there's lots of great music out there. But we are fooling ourselves if we think that there's also not a whole lot of terrible music out there.
Sure.
Just because there's also more people making music. So
yeah, and I think also like people that make music because they want to make music and they want to be good, it comes from a different place. Like when I make art, it is solely for the art. It's solely because I want to create something. And this is beyond music, but it's because I want to create, I want to see something through, to the end. If it doesn't do what it's supposed to do monetarily or numbers wise, that's just what it is. I mean, even this video, I think this is a great video. This is a very informational video that I think is very powerful for a lot of people. Will it get the amount of views that it should probably get? No, it won't. It won't. That's okay because I still think that this is important. I'm still going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for the art, for the importance of what this is, for the people that may see it, that it may impact how they approach things. But if I was just doing this for the clicks or just for whatever, then it changes the point of it, right? Then I would say that I'm less of a creative. I'm not really creating something for the reasons that I really want to be creating. And it's the same with music. It's the same with music. It really is. Like I'm working on a project called Lone Love Elton. I have this Lone Love series where I sample one artist and I kind of do their whole album, right? So I'm resampling Elton John's Yellow Brick Road, every song on that, and I'm flipping into a different beat, right? This is the fourth in the series. I'm doing this because I want to do it, because it's a challenge. I want to recreate the vibe that I created on the first two projects. I just want to share that creativity in a very specific type of way. Sure, I'm going to put in the effort behind the scenes to make sure the artwork is where it needs to be and do some promotional things for it. But, if it doesn't hit what it needs to hit as far as numerical numbers and all that stuff, like I am not tripping. Like, yes, I want it, but it's not going to change who I am because I am a creative at art and I'm going to do another one after that because that's what I do, because I care about it. I care about the thing that I do. And I think I'm just using myself as an example. And I know there's bazillions of people that out there that have different levels of care. And I have different levels of care for many things as well. But that's really what it comes down to me. And there's more access.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's
like
access.
it's like a yin and a, it's like a gift and a curse type thing. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've talked enough on that, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, is this a really big problem? Is it a small problem? I don't know. They made a good point when, when Nick and Jay Moore mentioned that there have been songwriters for a long time, and all ChatGPT is essentially a songwriter. And that's really kind of what it comes down to. But then there are ethics based upon what the model's trained on. And we're still in the early stages of seeing what that's going to look like in the future, with lawsuits coming up and all these things. But I generally don't have a problem with this. I just wish we could really, I hope that we can really delineate, we could really, in the future, what I hope exists is that there's a way to really distinguish the difference between the people that are caring and the people that aren't. I just hope that exists somehow. So anyways, I'm Sean, Lonegevity, with, bringing down the band, but also the New Old Heads podcast. This was from episode 449 with guest DJ Metronome, who, I teach with and work with a lot at Decademics and other things, of that nature. So, if you just want to support me, whatever, just make sure you slap the subscribe, hit that notification button. If you want to support the New Old Heads, which is what I think is more important, go and become a free Patreon member at patreon.com/newoldheads, or become a $5 member. And you get our 2-hour uncut episode every week that releases a day earlier from our regular episode. So it's every Wednesday that drops on our Patreon. So anyways, that's enough of me. See y'all next time. Peace.